get all the education and learning that you can. Do not let those opportunities go by, because with a strong education, there are so many more options and opportunities.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
There will still be
The journey. The journey.
New sheriff in town, and his name is
The journey.
Journey.
This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is
The journey. The journey.
What is it that moved you?
The journey. The journey.
Welcome back to another episode of The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and today we have a Memphis icon that got here by way of Washington, D.C., Queens, New York. The brother been a few different places, but before we go there, we got a quote. And the quote is from the great producer, Lena Waithe. And it goes like this: the things that make us different, those are our superpowers. I'm going to ask our guest, what does that mean to him? He's a community activist, advocate. He's a huge advocate for the city of Memphis and our youth. He's a bank and C-suite exec. He's a father, husband, and I like to call him a community change agent. So listen, straight out of Queens, New York, we have Brother Vernon Stafford Jr. What's going on, man?
I'm excited to be here with you, Brother Larry.
I'm honored. I am truly honored, man.
This is a pleasure. I've seen some of the icons that have sat here with you, and I feel like I don't measure up. But,
whatever, man. We ain't even going to let you go there.
It's good to be here.
Man, I appreciate you being here. So take us back. Take us back to early years, Queens, New York.
Yeah, so it's interesting. My parents, my mom and dad.
Well, hold on. Before you go there, let me go back up a little bit.
Okay.
What did that quote mean to you? What makes us different?
That's an interesting quote, because we are all different. The Bible says we're fearfully, wonderfully made. We're uniquely made, right? So we are different. And I think what it means to me is that because I'm different, I have something to offer that other people don't.
Right.
And so for me, my quest has been in life to find out and understand what my uniqueness is,
right,
and my superpower. And for me, superpower, I'm one who is very disciplined, and that discipline helps me to be able to accomplish a lot of things, both personally, professionally, as well as being a father and husband.
Okay.
So it means understanding my differences give me the ability to be strong in a lot of things or strong in certain things.
Right. When did you know your purpose?
Great question. So interestingly enough, several years ago, I read the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay.
And one of the things it really advocated was developing a purpose statement.
Okay.
And so I developed a purpose statement in life several years ago, and I did that really based on some soul searching, some introspection, understanding exactly what I had already accomplished and what I hadn't, and what my goals and mission in life is. And that helped me put that statement together. And then every few years I go back to that statement and reevaluate it to make sure that I'm still in alignment with that.
Okay.
And that I'm living it out. And so for me, purpose really means, first and foremost, I became a Christian in my mid-20s.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of pre-Christian life that existed that probably is not the life you would want me to live today.
Right.
And so as a result, it really helped me understand that God had a purpose for me in life. And so I've been really just continuing the journey, living that out.
Fantastic. Okay, now back to Queens, New York.
So
who's in the household?
Mom and Dad. I am a second generation American. My mom and dad were first generation. They were born here, but their parents were born in the West Indies.
Okay.
And so as a descendant of West Indian ancestors, we had certain principles that were taught to us young. Right. And so I've got, on my mom's side, she has 6 brothers and sisters, and I've got 15 cousins, first cousins.
Right.
And every Saturday we would meet at my grandmother's house, all 16 of us getting together and just having a great time. And even today, I'm still close with my first cousins, even though we're all over the world.
Right.
My dad's side, very similar. He had 6 brothers and sisters, not as many grandkids for my grandparents there. but the same principles, true traditional principles. We had 2-parent households in most of my family's households. We had cousins who may have been blue-collar workers, but they were educated. We had doctors and lawyers, and so those were the people I grew up with that helped me kind of understand exactly what I could be.
Okay.
My mom and dad were working class
Were you only
individuals.
child?
I was the only child.
Really?
So technically, I'm the only child. I say technically. My dad had a marriage before my mom, and so he had one daughter through that marriage, but she never lived with us.
Okay.
So I'm my
Are
parents'
y'all
only
cool?
child.
Are y'all tight at all?
Not really.
Okay.
That's a story for another day.
Okay. All right.
But the thing that I guess really helped me was having both parents in the house.
Right.
Despite the fact that we were working class, I could see the integrity within my household.
Right.
And my mom was a very diligent individual. She got up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and I would watch her do that.
Okay.
And my dad worked at nights, and so I would see their hard work, which instilled in me a very strong work ethic.
Right.
And so that's how I became. Now, I talked about sort of the pre-Christian days.
Okay, hold on. Before you go there, we're going to unpack all that in the second half. But who outside of your parents had the biggest impact on young Vernon?
That's pretty easy. I have a cousin. His name was Kirk. He passed away.
Okay.
He was my dad's sister's son, so my first cousin, and he was 7 years older than me.
Okay.
And I idolized him.
What about Kirk made you pay attention to him?
Yeah, he was 7 years older than me, and so he always was doing things that kind of inspired me.
Okay.
He was and what's interesting is I lived in Queens, New York, but he lived in Washington, D.C.
Oh.
So I didn't get to see him every day, but I spent summers there in Washington, and so I would get to see him in action. He'd ride his 10-speed around the neighborhood, and I wanted to be like him.
Okay.
Or he was a great skeet shooter.
Right.
And I wanted to be a skeet shooter. He won national championship as a skeet shooter, first black teenager to win national championship.
Wow.
And so he inspired me, and used to just enjoy watching him. Okay. And it's interesting that my dad died when I was 15.
Okay.
And when my dad died, I was kind of walking on a little bit of the wild side.
Okay.
And Kirk came up from Washington to come talk to me. So 22-year-old man at that time, he comes to talk, and he sat down and really gave me a heart-to-heart that turned my life around.
Really?
It was pretty amazing.
Kirk, when did you know you was going to be okay? When could you look in the mirror and say, I can do this thing called life?
Yeah, so going back to my dad's death, that was pretty traumatic for me because my dad was sort of my best friend.
Right.
And I enjoyed the times that I would have with him. And when he was gone, it rocked my world. You know, you talk about traumatic events, that is one of the traumatic events I can remember in life for sure. Mm-hmm. And so for several years, it took me a while to kind of figure out exactly how to do life.
Okay.
What I knew pretty quickly was that I didn't want to waste my life.
Right.
And the reason I say that is I'm Vernon Stafford Jr.
Right.
So my dad gave me his name.
Right.
And early on, at 15, I recognized that I had to make some changes in my life because I didn't want his life to have been in vain, producing his only son, and then me not become anything positive. And so that was the first inkling that I said, I've got to do some things different.
Okay. When did you know you were going to be okay, though?
Yeah.
Is that a moment?
No, it was, I think, over a period of time.
Okay. Okay.
I went to college, and as a typical teenager from New York, I went to school in Rhode Island, and Rhode Island's quite different from New York City. And so I found myself in an area of the country that I knew nothing about.
Right.
And it was a bit intimidating.
Okay.
But I met some good friends there on campus and quickly acclimated. And it wasn't until I got through college that I started really believing that I had some positive aspects in me that would make me okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it took me to kind of get through college to really appreciate that.
Okay. Now I'm imagining this is going to be a really unique answer for you, but I'm going to ask you, when was the moment that you realized that you were a black man? Hold on real quick. Listen, we coming back on the journey where Brother Vernon is going to share with us when he remembers that he was a brother. Right back after this. Don't go nowhere. I'm telling you, don't go. It's good. It's going to get better on the journey.